we try to always look and prepare ahead. Even though it's summer now, we're planning for our fall, winter, and even spring gardens. So in this video series, we're going to show you what we do to prepare. Guten Gardening, everyone! Well, we're in the midst of what I would call a seed struggle. I don't think I remember a time when it was more difficult to get access to the seeds that you want for your fall garden and beyond. How about you? Are you having an easy go of it, finding the seeds wherever you want in the stores or online? I doubt it. I know I've seen posts on Facebook and elsewhere of people who've talked about trying to go to the store and either not seeing any seeds at all, or at the very least they're limited in supply. And actually one of the main retailers that we go to for seeds when we're not saving our own, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, we found the same thing, that a lot of their amazing seed selection is out of stock. And unfortunately there you can actually get a notification when it comes back in stock, but I think that's pretty typical these days, and it's part of a bigger problem, which is that seed availability has become worse this year as the pandemic has stretched on and more people have taken to gardening and in our case urban gardening. We want to encourage people to go out and garden as much as possible and grow their own food. I mean, if you've seen anything in the stores, you've noticed the limitations that are being placed on us because of the limits to food supply. And so if we can make sure that we're prepared enough ahead of time that we don't have to worry about any limitations placed on us, then we're going to be in a much better spot. But I think the first part of that challenge comes in making sure we actually have the seeds that we need to grow in our garden. So for the last few weeks, we've been preparing for our fall crop. We have some seeds that just came in 2 days ago that we're still going to plant. And actually we're going to do a seed bag opening here in a little bit. But you know, when we went to Baker Creek, what we noticed was, and you can see the website here, I mean, there are still quite a few items in stock, quite a few vegetables in stock, but I mean, there's so many that are out. There's so many that are out. We don't want to just concentrate on our fall crop. When we see something like this, it makes us want to think longer term, to plan out better than just what do I need in this moment. For us, when it comes to seeds, what we want to think about is not just the fall garden. It's winter, spring, summer of next year. And so when we ordered our seeds most recently, we ordered what we could find for the fall garden, and there are still some really cool, unique varieties that we're excited about. But we also ordered what we would need in some cases, not all of the supplies that we would need, but what we would need for our spring garden. We have a lot of plans to really maximize our growing potential even in the wintertime, but none of that's going to happen if we aren't really putting together the forethought to plan all this out. If you've purchased anything from Baker Creek in the past, you can opt into their newsletter. And so they've sent us a list of vegetables that can still be planted right now. And this email came to us just 2 days ago. So we're talking July 29th. Today's the 31st of July. So these are very much appropriate still for your zones. So you can see what is suggested for zones 3 to 5, and we're in zone 5, and we are taking advantage of quite a few of these. That's such a large number of potential options for us for the fall. And that's great. We're not just limiting ourselves to 1 or 2 items. We have so much more that we can grow in our garden to, again, maximize our yield, maximize our harvest overall, so that we're not struggling when it comes to putting food away over the winter months. If you're in zones 6 through 9, there are other options available to you. Some of them overlap a little bit. You have that later first frost date, which is really nice. To be honest, a little bit envious of you, when it comes to that. I don't envy the heat that some of you get though in the middle of the summer, so I guess there's a balance there. But you have some other items that you can still grow. We're going to add options and we're going to add opportunities for our harvest here in the fall. And I want to show you some of what we are going to put into the ground. The seeds that I'm going to show you now, most of them are fall seeds. Most of them are seeds that we're going to plant now, and we're going to plant again in early spring because they are cooler weather, or they're really short harvest dates that'll do well at this time of year. Some of the seeds are for next spring, and I have no qualms about going out and buying seeds for next year. They're not going to go bad. We're going to store them properly, and in fact, if anything, we're not going to have to worry when the time comes for us to buy seeds. We'll have them in stock. We don't have to worry about shipping, whether they're available. We'll take advantage of them now, and then we'll reap the benefit of having them in stock much faster than we would have otherwise. Let's get right into opening up these seeds. So the first one that we have is a radish, a Japanese Minaways daikon radish, and this is a 45 to 60 day radish that gets huge. We've never tried to grow this before, but that's pretty exciting that we might get something this big in just over a month and a half. We're planting two different kinds of beets. We have the Kyoja beets that make that really cool bullseye look, and we have Ruby Queen beets. Now beets are typically 55 to 65 days, so we have enough time before our first frost to get these in the ground, and they do well in temperatures as low as 20 degrees. We also have two different types of lettuce that we're going to be planting. We have the Tom Thumb lettuce, which is about a 45-day lettuce before you start harvesting, and one that is absolutely stunning, and that is the Solar Flare lettuce. Now it takes a little bit longer, about 60-65 days. So again, with some of these, we're only planting part of the seeds. We're not going to plant all the seeds, so we can use this again in the spring. And for the first time, we're planting the Wild Rocket, also known as arugula. And this is something that can be eaten within a month of planting. And they say that the younger leaves are a little bit sweeter, and as they mature, you've probably had that in the store, the leaves get pretty spicy. And so we've never grown it before. We've eaten it in salads plenty, but we're going to try this for the first time this year and see how it goes. Another first for us is the Rondenise summer squash. It's like a French zucchini. It's supposed to taste similar to a zucchini and look like a zucchini, except it's round. And this one takes about 55 days to maturity, so we're going to see what we can get here in our fall crop. If you've been following our channel at all, you probably noticed that we've become obsessed with kohlrabi. We harvested our first kohlrabi this year, and we've tried it in any number of ways, some of them very uncommon, including making kohlrabi ice cream, which was delicious. So we've decided to plant two more types of kohlrabi in addition to the purple kohlrabi that we already have seeded earlier this month. And so this is some early white Vienna kohlrabi. It's about a 55-day turnaround for harvest of this one. This is going to be similar to the one that we already planted outside and have harvested already this year. But this one, the Super Schmelz, or giant white kohlrabi, is a 60 to 70 day variety that can grow up to 10 pounds. We're going to try a few of these now, and we're definitely planting this in the spring again. The rest of these are seeds that we're planning to plant in the spring. We have Sikkim cucumber, which is a late spring harvest. This one takes about 60 to 65 days to mature. We have some radicchio. This is Castelfranco, which is supposed to be really delicious radicchio, and one that takes about 80 days. So if we were going to plant this one now, we wouldn't have enough time before our first frost. So we'll plant this early spring, and then we'll plant it again in preparation earlier next year so we can have it in our fall garden as well. We have Honeyboat delicata squash. We actually planted some of this year already. We got a few off of it, but I think we can do better than that.
This one takes about 90 to 120 days, so you have to have plenty of time for this type of squash. We have some leeks in the garden right now that have been in there for over 3 months, and we have some more to plant then for next year. Leeks take a long time, probably one of the longest growing plants that we plant, about 120 to 170 days. Some early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. Now the early Jersey Wakefield cabbage is another one of those that's about 3 to 4 months to harvest, so we'll be planting that early. And last, in terms of what we ordered, we have borage. We've never planted borage before, and I know that there are supposed to be some medicinal purposes or uses for it, but we're planning to use it as a pest repellent, and we're hoping to use it to attract more pollinators. And as always, when we order from Baker Creek, they send us something free, and in this case, it's the Japanese giant red mustard greens. These take, you can start harvesting them within 5 to 6 weeks, and so in all likelihood, we'll plant some now, and we'll have some again for the spring.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. You know, it's important to remember, we can't always guarantee all of these seeds are in stock, so if we have the opportunity now to take advantage of some of the sales that are out there, or if we have the opportunity now to take care of what is in stock and we know we can use it in the future, we're going to do just that. That way we're not running around trying to figure out what on earth are we going to be able to put in our garden. I'm sure that many of you already have plans in place and are preparing for your future gardens as well. We would love to hear from you about what your steps look like to ensure that you have the seeds you need to be ready to plant when the time comes. If you found this video informative, please let us know. Leave us a comment, give us a like, share with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe. And remember, when you're with us, you're good to grow.